Who really built the Egyptian pyramids? Slaves? Aliens? Ancient Atlanteans? Or ancient super-engineers? For centuries, the question of who built the Egyptian pyramids has intrigued scholars, inspired adventurers, and fueled the imaginations of countless people around the world. The image of the Great Pyramids rising from the sands, their limestone blocks gleaming in the desert sun, is one of humanity's most enduring symbols. But their origins remain shrouded in myth, legend, and speculation. Were the pyramids the work of oppressed slaves? Could they have been constructed by lost civilizations such as Atlantis, wielding forgotten technology? Did extraterrestrial visitors lend their abilities to complete these massive tombs, or were they the masterpiece of the ancient Egyptian people themselves, ingenious architects and laborers whose skills far surpassed what we might expect from such a distant epoch? To begin unraveling this enigma, we must first step back in time, over 4,000 years ago, when the first great stone pyramids began to rise along the west bank of the Nile. The most iconic, the Great Pyramid of Giza, was built for Pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE during the 4th dynasty of Egypt's Old Kingdom. At nearly 500 feet tall and made from more than 2 million limestone and granite blocks, some weighing over 70 tons, its sheer scale seems to defy explanation. How people have wondered, could an ancient society without iron tools, modern machinery, or knowledge of the wheel possibly erect such colossal structures? The oldest theories, stretching back more than 2 millennia, come from historians like Herodotus, the Greek father of history. He chronicled tales of 100,000 slaves laboring ceaselessly, men driven under the lash to haul immense stones across the desert. These stories form the backbone of the slave hypothesis, a narrative so powerful that it echoes even today, reinforced by films and popular culture. But archaeology, careful study of ancient records, and new discoveries now paint a different, richer, and more human story. Modern Egyptologists have uncovered a wealth of evidence that contradicts the slave labor narrative. Near the pyramids at Giza, for example, archaeologists discovered an entire worker village, complete with houses, bakeries, breweries, and cemeteries. The workers buried there were not malnourished, brutalized slaves. They were well-fed, robust individuals, many of whom bore signs of healed injuries that indicate regular, high-quality medical care. Their graves included offerings, suggesting honor and respect instead of oppression. Further investigation into ancient Egyptian papyri, such as the records of an overseer named Merer, shed light on the logistics of pyramid construction. These documents reveal a highly organized workforce, seasonal laborers, skilled artisans, engineers, and inspectors, coordinated on a staggering scale. Many workers were farmers, recruited during the months when the Nile flooded their fields, leaving them idle. Thus, pyramid building became almost a national project, carried out not by enslaved masses, but by dedicated, sometimes even prideful, Egyptians, working to honor their pharaoh and ensure prosperity for their land in this life and the next. The technical side of construction also speaks to the Egyptians' abilities as engineers and organizers. The ancient builders employed an array of ingenious techniques. To move the massive blocks, they likely used copper tools, wooden sleds, and a sophisticated system of ramps and levers. Recent findings indicate that wetting the sand in front of sledges could dramatically reduce friction, allowing teams of workers to transport huge stones over surprisingly long distances. Geologists have identified quarries and transportation routes, confirming that the massive limestone casing stones came from nearby hills, while the heavier granite blocks for the king's chamber at Giza were floated down from Aswan, hundreds of miles to the south. But how did the Egyptians lift these heavy stones into position? Theories abound. Some believe straight, zigzagging, or spiral ramps allowed workers to drag stones upward as construction progressed. Others suggest counterweight systems or spiral corridors built within the pyramid itself. While we may never know the exact method, there is no doubt that ancient Egyptian architects were among the greatest problem solvers of their day, overcoming extraordinary challenges with persistence and creativity. Despite all this evidence for homegrown genius, alternative theories persist. The allure of lost civilizations, such as Atlantis, as recounted by Plato, has always held sway over the imagination. Could the pyramids have been built with the forgotten technologies of these fabled peoples? Is it possible that ancient cultures possessed advanced knowledge, now vanished from the historical record, which allowed them to shape stone and move it with ease? The Atlantean hypothesis, while compelling, is not supported by physical evidence. There are no records, artifacts, or ruins that point to an advanced society predating the Egyptians with the means or the motive to construct the pyramids. While the Egyptians themselves left abundant art, inscriptions, and documents detailing their architectural achievements, we find nothing comparable from possible Atlantean ancestors. The most striking features of the pyramids, their size, alignment, and construction, can all be explained within the context of ancient Egyptian society and technology, which evolved steadily over centuries. Earlier pyramids from Saqqara and Dashur show a clear progression in design, reflecting trial and error, engineering breakthroughs, and changing religious beliefs. The Great Pyramid stands not as an isolated mystery, but as the high point of a known tradition. No discussion of pyramid origins would be complete without addressing the claims of extraterrestrial intervention, a theory that gained global attention in the 1960s and 1970s. According to this hypothesis, the scale and precision of the pyramids, as well as their astronomical alignments, suggest they were built with help from beings beyond our world. Proponents argue that certain stones appear to be cut or moved in ways impossible for ancient humans, or that the knowledge to create perfect cardinal alignment must have come from those with a view of Earth from space. Yet, as captivating as these ideas might be, careful study erodes their foundation. The mathematics and the astronomy of the pyramids, while remarkable, are within the capabilities of ancient Egyptian scholars, who studied the stars, engineered calendars, and tracked the flooding of the Nile with sophisticated methods. The tools and techniques for carving hard stone, while slow and laborious by modern standards, are evidenced by the chisels, dolerite pounders, and copper saws unearthed in quarries and workshops. The supposed impossibility of their methods dissipates when one considers the power of patience, organization, and collective will over decades. Moreover, the claim that the pyramids perfectly align with celestial bodies or encode advanced knowledge is often exaggerated. The Great Pyramid is aligned remarkably well to true north, a feat achievable through careful observation of circumpolar stars, something easily within reach of dedicated astronomer priests. Other purported codes or mathematical constants, like the value of pi or the golden ratio said to be hidden in the dimensions, can arise coincidentally, or from our tendency to find patterns, even where none were deliberately placed. What, then, do the pyramids reveal about their creators? Far from being monuments shrouded in impenetrable mystery, they are testimonies to the organizational strength, faith, and technical prowess of the Old Kingdom Egyptians. Building a pyramid was above all an act of devotion, blending religious conviction with statecraft. The pharaoh, in the Egyptian worldview, was both king and god, the bridge connecting earth to the divine. Constructing his tomb was a way of ensuring the eternal order of both society and the cosmos. Workers contributed not just to their ruler's memory, but to their nation's hope for the future, a future where cosmic balance, or ma'at, was assured by honoring the gods. The workforce itself was stratified and specialized. Skilled laborers were permanent staff, craftspeople residing near the site. Their expertise ranged from stone cutting to engineering, logistics, art, and medicine. Seasonal laborers comprised the majority, a mix of conscripted citizens and paid volunteers, usually fulfilling a kind of national service. The living quarters excavated near Giza reflect a society that cared for its workers. Barracks, bakeries, even areas for tending to the injured. Skeletal analyses of workers reveal that those who suffered bone fractures often healed and returned to work, a clear sign of medical intervention. The entire operation, quarrying, transportation, construction, and decoration, required not just manpower but vast administrative oversight. Bureaucrats managed supply chains for food, materials, and equipment. Artisans decorated the tomb's interiors with religious texts and images designed to help the king navigate the afterlife. The process took decades and was a matter of national pride. The completion of a pyramid validated Egypt's divine order. It's easy to understand why alternative theories persist. The pyramids' grandeur dwarfs modern achievements, and their very existence challenges our notions of what is possible without advanced machinery or technology. The desire for a lost golden age, or intervention from superior beings, be they Atlanteans or aliens, taps into deep-seated human yearnings for mystery and wonder. But the real lesson of the pyramids may be even more astonishing. They were built by ordinary humans, united by a shared vision, motivated by their beliefs, and endowed with the determination to make the impossible possible. Recent discoveries continue to refine our understanding. At Wadi al-Jarf, the oldest known harbor, archaeologists found papyri from Khufu's reign detailing the logistics of transporting limestone. Analysis of the Sphinx and the pyramids themselves reveals signs of continuous adaptation, a culture deeply invested in perfecting its engineering feats. Even the famous casing stones, polished to a near-mirror sheen, speak to an aesthetic sensibility still evident in Egypt's treasures today. Evidence of scaffolding, remnants of ramps, and wear on stones corroborate historical accounts and archaeological hypotheses, filling in gaps in our knowledge rather than deepening the mystery. So who really built the pyramids? Not slaves shackled by cruelty, not Atlantean refugees bearing lost secrets, and not alien interlopers wielding space-age tools. The towering pyramids of Egypt were built by the ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians themselves, crafted through the sweat of the brow and guided by the stars, the sun, and the undying human desire to reach for eternity. Their achievement reminds us that greatness is not the exclusive domain of the mysterious or the superhuman. Instead, it is born from the cumulative efforts of people working together, pushing the boundaries of their knowledge, and daring to dream beyond what seems possible. The pyramids stand as enduring monuments not to lost worlds or extraterrestrial intervention, but to the spirit, resilience, and creativity of humanity itself. As we gaze upon these ancient wonders today, we are witness to the same sense of awe that inspired their builders. Their mystery lies not in the involvement of aliens or mythic civilizations, but in the extraordinary power of a society, united in purpose, devoted to its leaders, and confident in its understanding of both earthly and celestial realms. In their stones are written not just the story of Egypt, but the potential of every age, reminding us that, with imagination and determination, humans can change the very face of the earth. In the end, the real question may not be who built the pyramids, but what they built the pyramids for: to serve as beacons of hope in the desert, to embody the order and unity of their world, and to show future generations from every corner of the globe what people can achieve when they dare to look beyond the horizon. The pyramids, eternal and enigmatic, ask us to consider our own capacity for greatness, and to remember that wonders are made not by magic, but by collective will, unshakable faith, and the enduring quest for understanding.